Dibu Martinez's nightmare has just come alive. Only weeks after Argentina's painful defeat in the 2026 World Cup final, a giant Italian club has delivered a bombshell verdict on his future. Because what that verdict really means for Dibu's career could be far more damaging than anyone expected. For Argentina, Dibu Martinez is almost untouchable. He is the goalkeeper who helped win the 2022 World Cup, the penalty specialist who became a national hero, the man who built an international career around saves, intimidation, celebrations, and the ability to turn the biggest pressure moments into his personal stage. But club football has never treated him the same way. For years, Dibu has been linked with the kind of giant European move that should supposedly come naturally to a goalkeeper with his international reputation. Manchester United, Inter, other major clubs. The rumours arrive, the transfer window explodes, and somehow Martinez ends up back at Aston Villa. This summer finally looked different. The mystery Italian giant was Juventus, and this was not supposed to be another meaningless rumour. Reports in Italy claimed Martinez was open to joining them. Personal terms were reportedly discussed. A 3-year contract was on the table. Dibu was even said to be prepared to accept lower wages to make the move happen. At almost 34, this could have been the transfer he had been waiting years for. One final move to a genuine European heavyweight. Then Juventus killed it. They examined the entire operation and walked away. And the verdict was brutal. Dibu was simply too expensive. Not because Aston Villa were demanding some absurd €100 million fee. Reports placed Villa's asking price around €10 million, with Juventus looking at a lower figure. 10 million for a World Cup winning goalkeeper. And Juventus still said no. That is where the story turns ugly. Because once one of Europe's biggest clubs looks at a relatively modest transfer fee and still decides the complete package is not worth paying, the transfer fee is clearly not the only problem. Martinez turns 34 in September. His wages are significant. His resale value is almost non-existent. Juventus would not be buying the beginning of something. They would be buying the final years. And football clubs can be absolutely ruthless when the numbers stop making sense. Argentina see the medals. Recruitment departments see age. Argentina remember the penalty saves. Accountants see salary. Supporters remember Qatar. Juventus have to calculate what Dibu will be worth 2 or 3 years from now. And apparently, they did not like the answer. But there is another part of the package surrounding Martinez that is much harder to put on a spreadsheet: his reputation. Dibu has spent years turning provocation into an art form. Penalty shootouts become psychological warfare. He talks to opponents. He delays. He celebrates in their faces. He dances. He makes himself impossible to ignore. Argentina love him for it. Opposition supporters absolutely despise him for it. And sometimes that behavior has crossed the line from entertaining into disciplinary trouble. FIFA previously suspended Martinez for 2 international matches over offensive behavior after incidents involving an obscene trophy gesture and a confrontation with a television cameraman. That did not destroy his reputation in Argentina. It strengthened it. Dibu became the villain everybody outside Argentina wanted to beat. But there is a huge difference between a national team embracing that chaos for a few international windows every year and a club employing it every single week. And then came another World Cup surrounded by controversy. Argentina reached the 2026 final, but their tournament was anything but quiet. After the dramatic semi-final victory over England, a Las Malvinas son Argentinas banner appeared during the celebrations. The Falklands issue instantly turned a football victory into a political storm. FIFA disciplinary attention followed. Martinez was not established as the central figure behind that banner, and there is no evidence Juventus abandoned his transfer because of the incident. But the timing is impossible to ignore. Dibu came out of another World Cup carrying defeat, controversy, and the same provocative image that has followed him for years. Then, one of Europe's biggest clubs looked at the total package and decided to walk away. That does not prove cause and effect, but it makes what happened next even more painful. Before we continue, subscribe to the World Cup Whistleblower, because Juventus did not stop looking for a goalkeeper when they dropped Dibu Martinez. They simply started looking for somebody else. That distinction changes everything. Juventus did not decide they could survive without strengthening the position. They decided Martinez was not worth completing the deal for. Other names immediately entered the conversation. Younger options, different financial packages, players who may offer more future value. And suddenly, Dibu was not the superstar being chased. He was the expensive option being replaced.
For a goalkeeper repeatedly described as one of the best in the world, that is a devastating reality check. Because if Dibu truly sits at the absolute top of the goalkeeper market, why does this keep happening? Why has the giant transfer never come? Why has a goalkeeper with a World Cup medal, Copa America success, and global recognition remained at Aston Villa, while other keepers make moves to clubs expected to compete for the Champions League every season? There are perfectly reasonable answers. Villa are not a small club. They have valued Martinez highly. He has had a strong contract. The right buyer has to need a goalkeeper at exactly the right time. But Dibu is running out of exactly that, time. At 31, another summer was always coming. At 32, there was still room to wait. At 33, one more opportunity could appear. Now he is approaching 34. And Juventus may have represented something much bigger than one failed negotiation. This may have been one of his final, realistic chances to make that enormous club move, while he could still arrive as a starting goalkeeper rather than an experienced, short-term solution. That is the nightmare. Not Juventus alone. The possibility that Juventus have simply reached the conclusion other elite clubs may reach next. Too old, too expensive, too little resale value, too much money tied up in the final stage of a career, and perhaps a personality that comes with more noise than some clubs want. Again, Juventus have not publicly blamed his behaviour. The reported financial reasons are strong enough on their own. But Dibu's entire profile has to be considered when clubs make decisions this large. The talent, the medals, the wages, the age, the personality, the publicity, everything comes in the same package. For Argentina, that package created a legend. For Juventus, it apparently created a deal they were prepared to abandon. And now, Aston Villa hold the cards again.
Martinez remains under contract.
Villa have publicly indicated they want to keep him, and unless another major club suddenly appears, Dibu could find himself exactly where he has been through so many previous transfer windows. Back at Villa, watching another possible giant move disappear. The timing makes it even harsher. Only days ago, Martinez still had the chance to end the summer as a two-time World Cup winner and potentially a new Juventus goalkeeper. Instead, Argentina lost the final. Controversy followed the tournament, and Juventus walked. 1 week can change the entire direction of a career. Dibu Martinez is still a World Cup winner, still an Argentina icon, still one of the most recognizable goalkeepers on earth. But the transfer market has just delivered a verdict far colder than any national team celebration. International glory does not guarantee elite club demand, and Juventus may have exposed the one enemy Dibu Martinez cannot intimidate, distract, or defeat in a penalty shootout. Time. Because the question is no longer whether Martinez deserved a move to a European giant 3 years ago. The question is whether one will still want him now, and after Juventus walked away, Dibu may finally be discovering the answer he never wanted to hear.